There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment, and here we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, anyway, everybody. And a good afternoon, Michelle. How are you today, young lady?
Hi, Kevin. I'm good. It's finally a little more of a peaceful day for me. How about you?
It's always a peaceful day for me. I live alone, so I don't have it anyway. It doesn't matter. We've got a great guest for you today. And would you like to introduce our guest today?
I would love to. Today we have Jacqueline here with us. She has a website called kellyperformancewellness.com, and she just works as everybody does that we should, to try to share a story and also inspire people to live better, a little healthier, and have maybe more opportunity in your life. So welcome, Jacqueline. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
And Jacqueline, it's great to have you here because, you know, there are two sides of sports. There's the physical side, but the part that I think is even more interesting to me is the mental side. And you kind of focus on that a little bit, don't you?
I do. I didn't start out there, but I ended up there.
Well, and it's a great place to be because you have a master's degree, and your master's degree is in
psychology with an emphasis in sports psychology.
Oh, very good. And Brachelle, she's working on her PhD, which then she can go and become the psychologist for sports teams, because some of them really need it. Because, and there's a story I need to tell a little bit about a guy who used to be a Seattle Seahawk, but I'll wait on that for just a couple of moments. So you used to own a gym, and now she's in Mesa, Arizona. Right now she's in Colorado, Brachelle.
Yes, I know. Everyone's always there when I'm not. So,
Yes.
Well, you were in the destitute southern region, weren't you, Brachelle?
yes, as far as I know, in the San Luis Valley for sure. But lots of family around Springs and Denver. Are you around there as well, Jacqueline?
Westminster, like halfway between Denver and Boulder.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful over there.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you spent some time in Boulder?
So I raised my kids here in Colorado for 20 years, and then I moved to Mesa, Arizona 3 years ago.
Oh, very good, because I spent a couple of days in Boulder. It is a cool place. It really is. It's very eclectic and very a lot of really interesting people and the mountains. I tell you, in Colorado, the mountains and it's so beautiful there.
It is. We're having some beautiful weather too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
When
great.
you were in Colorado with your kids, is that what started your journey, or was it when you moved that all kind of started?
Which journey?
I've
been doing
journey that led to you helping athletes and working with their mentality type of thing.
So I started as a strength and conditioning coach and a personal trainer. I sort of hate to say how long ago, but 30 years ago. So that's really all I've ever done. And then when there was someone that I felt like I was missing, couldn't communicate with, or whatever, it was very frustrating to me, because I really want to help. I want people to suffer less, and whatever that means, and to perform better. So I went back to school to get my master's in psychology, sports psychology. So living here with my kids, I had my own gym so that I could help people as much as I could, but not miss any of their activities or their lives.
Yeah.
They call that balance, I think, is what they call that. How many little itty bitty ones did you make?
I made 2, and I adopted 2 from Haiti.
Oh,
Beautiful.
thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, it was a gift for me. I'm sure more than it was for them. My children are my reason for every breath, pretty much. So I'm pretty lucky.
Well, and we were talking before the show. We have a regular guest his name is Samuel, and I suspect that he's gonna show up at one point. And he's in Kenya, and Haiti is kind of very Kenya-like because it is. It's not it's hard there and stuff. So thank you for taking those kids and bringing them to you. How old were they when they came here? Did they remember Haiti?
3 and 4. And the older one has lots of memories.
Because coming here must have been like an amazing. Just walking into a grocery store would be amazing here versus what they had to deal with in Kenya.
Or nerve-wracking.
But they were so excited about getting new shoes. So I remember taking them to the mall here, and we were riding down the escalator, which was great. They had seen the escalator at the airport, but they really wanted to do the escalator, but they saw the mannequins. And they were laughing and couldn't figure that out. And and then when they got the shoes and we walked through the mall, they kept running up to strangers and sticking out their foot so that everybody could see their shoes. It was precious.
And you live for moments like that, I'm guessing, in all the ways that you help other people.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Look what I can do. Jacqueline taught me.
Well, and I took when Rochelle and her family came here, we went to a mall and we went to the children's department to buy shoes for Rochelle because she's got children's size shoes.
Yes. And it was the same experience. I felt like walking through the mall and want to stick up my feet. Look what I got. I got new shoes. But it's those little things too that it's not really me and Kevin talk about this a lot, even on the music show, it's not the item, it's the experience. Those shoes are going to get worn out and they're going to wear them and they're going to tear and they're going to get dirty probably twice as fast if they were a boy. And in that moment, they'll never forget the experience of you, mom, taking them to go and buy those shoes. Same with me and Kevin. My shoes are white Air Forces, disgusting, dirty. They're pretty much not even white anymore. Do I care? No, because every time I put them on, I remember that moment and that story. Did you have something like that was similar in your life that happened that kind of like sent you down the path of wanting to really help people feel the same thing?
I've been asked that question before, and I don't remember one specific thing. But I just remember the example of my father just always, going that extra mile or wanting to help somebody. He was a big influence.
My dad too.
And I told ya that, Rochelle, would you like to read the message from Samuel?
Yes, Samuel says, greetings, brother Kevin, sister Rochelle, and our guest Jacqueline receive warmest greetings from Kibera slums in Nairobi, Kenya. Watching and listening to live this favorite program, Positive Talk Radio. We love you. Receives greetings from my team. And we love you too, Samuel. Hello to everybody. Thank you for being here. We're going to learn about how to get fit, but maybe a little more mentally. So stick with us.
Well, it's well, first of all, I got to tell you, right? I told Jacqueline before we came on that our show is being watched on a big screen TV in a big room in Kenya with about 20 or 25 people sitting around. So let's get them to all to all applaud. Maybe we'll hear them over here from there. What do you think?
That'd be great.
Anything's possible, Kevin.
It's just great. And by the way, he feeds 350 children, and he sent us pictures every Saturday, and which is a really big deal because I drove a bus with a man who came from Kenya, and it's kind of a funny story. He was the son of a chief. And I said, whoa, the son of a chief, that's a big deal. And I said, and he said, yeah, it was. And the women walk 6 miles every day to get water. But the men decided, we're going to be manly men, and we're going to go with the women, and we're going to go get the water with them. And you know what the women said? Nope. That's our time, baby. You stay here and do what you're doing, but because we get to talk about you while we're walking to go get water and to come back. We don't want any men's around to do that. So I thought that was really a cute story.
It is.
So Jacqueline, you make things happen regardless of where you are, but sometimes you need to have a mental aspect to it to make it better, especially as an athlete or somebody that's trying to get into shape. There's a real mental aspect to it, isn't there?
Yes. I think that's more than anything, right? You can say that we are just not motivated, right? We can make up excuses or whatever, but I teach that you have to create an awareness. And what is it that we need to be aware of? Is it our overall health? Is it our lack of motivation? Is it what we're spending or wasting our time on? Once we create an awareness and have some really good conversations, then what's your preparation? And your preparation can be as simple as, did you set your clothes out the night before by the door so you know you're going to make it to the gym? Or is your preparation, right? Is it meditating, a prayer, if that's what you believe in? Is it talking to your connections about holding you accountable, right? There's so many things in the preparation. And then your effort. One day you get up and you're able to give 110% effort all day long, but other days you just don't feel like you can give that much. And how do you hold yourself accountable and get there? And then the last thing we talk about is your attitude. And it isn't about always a good attitude or a bad attitude, but do you have an attitude? And are you open to listening to what Kevin has to say or what Jacqueline has to say or Rochelle, or are you closed? And if you're closed, then, maybe we're circling back to that awareness and why are you closed? What's the resistance? So that's usually a pretty good starting point when I talk to people.
And by the way, if you're tuning in right now, you can feel free to enter a comment into the chat if you want to say hello to Jacqueline or you have a question or something like that. Just put the question in the chat and we'll put it up, and then you can talk to Jacqueline that way. Jacqueline, I have this is how important I think the mental side is. There is a football player. He's a quarterback, and he used to play for my Seattle Seahawks, who won yesterday. Yay! And he had a coach. He had a mental coach. He had somebody to help him stay in the straight and narrow, and he did really, really well. There was talk of him going to being in the Hall of Fame and doing all these things. He won the Super Bowl with the team and stuff. Well, unfortunately, and I forget the gentleman's name, doesn't matter, but he passed away. And after that, the quarterback's performance started going down. And because he needed the grounding that the mental coach gave him. And so he wasn't able to continue in the same way. That's how important the mental side is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That's Russell Wilson, and his mental skills coach was Trevor Moawad. And
boy, you're good.
and Trevor is just, he might not be with us here on earth anymore, but the messages that he sent will go on and on and on. So those of us who believed in what he was saying, his big talk was neutral thinking, and he'll live on for a very, very long time. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm so you know his work.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, very good. That's exciting because Russell when he connected with him, his performance level went up. I don't know if you followed his career, but
yeah, because he came to be a Bronco, Russell did. So we were pretty excited about that. And I have a picture of my older son with Russell. So yeah, big fan.
Oh, and your older son's probably taller than him too.
I think they were the same height.
Because he's like 5'10". They say he's 5'11", but it's really like 5'10 and a quarter kind of thing,
Yeah.
But that's it. That's great. So you've studied him, and you've studied a lot of other folks, and you are a coach of note yourself. So that's which is really good. And by the way, Rochelle, she told me something, and I'm not going to say the name of the team, but she has an appointment next week to talk to a professional team about working with them.
Well, when we take this break, that kind of leads into the question that I had when we come back, Jacqueline, is when you know that you're going to be working with people who are taking pressure from every angle, that they have it coming in, and not to only not absorb it, but also to be able to kind of have that groundingness in them, to be able to know this is where I stand, this is where I am, there's all these things around me and all these things happening, but coming back to that mental state, because I think that really I've heard so many people who have come out of so many different aspects of their life of disorders and traumas and things that they've been through just by being active. But when you're working with people who already went through life and now they have all the social aspects built on top of that, how you kind of help them from the start be able to understand this is where we're at and this is who you are, always remember that. So if we could do that, I'd love to hear your perspective.
Sounds great.
And we'll take a break right now, and we'll be right back in 48 seconds. Okay, maybe 49. Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk. Rochelle is right here. Actually, I should have you come in from the break this time, Rochelle.
Okay. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio, everybody. It's myself, Rochelle, and Kevin, of course. And we have Jacqueline here with us. She is doing amazing things. Tanya is welcoming you and saying hello as well. And really, it's just an honor to have you here. The way that you're able to work with, just people on a day-to-day basis who kind of struggle with the everyday mentalities of life, but also to work with people who have it coming from every angle, and also from the Slums of the Humanitarian Support Initiative, Kyberia. They are tuned in. Proud of us hosts, Kevin and Rochelle. Thank leader for Samuel for introducing us to his favorite program. So I'd like to welcome them in. Hello, everybody, for listening in, and I hope you enjoy it. There's a lot to learn today. So go ahead and continue with however you would like to answer my question.
I think this sounds so easy, but remembering what we can control and what we can't control is probably the best place to start with that conversation. And then to have specific goals, to be setting goals all the time and what you're trying to accomplish, and being able to be flexible enough to change those goals. But there's just so much coming at us from everywhere, right? Whether it's our jobs, our families, whatever it is we're doing with our social media and all those kinds of things. So we have to set priorities. But if we don't have a goal that's leading us, then I think it's difficult to also figure out what it is we can and can't control. So we sort of swing back to that process where I talked about, then maybe it's a conversation again, an awareness, And then what is your preparation? What are the, I feel like I say this all the time, but you sort of have to do all the things, but all the things becomes very overwhelming. So all the things for you may be, getting really good quality sleep and nutrition and exercise and meditation and yoga, right? All the things. Maybe all the things for somebody else is still, I think probably all of us should get good quality sleep, nutrition, and exercise, but what are the other things that allow you to relax or to be comfortable? Is it reading a book? Is it crocheting? Is it working on your car? But if we don't have those goals and priorities, then it all becomes way too overwhelming.
Do you
Did
think
I
that
answer
people
your question?
struggle more when it comes to doing the little daily preparations, or maybe when it comes to changing the goal they thought they had in mind?
Hmm. I think with most of the people that I see that they either don't have a goal,
Mm.
or possibly their goal isn't realistic. So starting the conversation there.
Yeah.
Maybe not an easy conversation, but I mean, I don't want to throw any of my adolescents under the bus, but
Oh,
you know,
please do.
Kevin does it to me all the time. Feel free.
but like, is it your goal or is it someone else's goal also, right? Is there a big parental influence or a significant other's influence? And so figuring out exactly what it is that you want, but also what is it that you're really willing to do? Kevin and I were talking a little bit before the show, and I was saying in 30 years, I've never sat down, so it's very difficult for me to sit. And he was sharing that he sometimes can only get outside for 15 or 20 minutes. So is his goal, to get outside for 8 hours a day realistic? Is it, what we have to put things in perspective, have honest conversations with whoever is holding us accountable and ourselves. But again, back to that awareness, it seems, I feel like there's a lot of delusion, maybe with social media or what we're watching on TV or movies, and it's not going to be easy. There's going to be work and whatever it is that you're trying to do. Even I think good quality sleep takes some work because you have to have a routine that helps you to, and turn off your computer. And, so I'm not sure easy. Like I said, I want people to suffer less and perform better in whatever it is they need to perform in, but we've got to have some pretty realistic goals that are attainable within a period of time, right? So it has an end date.
Yeah.
I have a question for you that I have always wanted to ask somebody. So this question is 50 years in the making.
Oh, I can answer it.
Well, when I was an athlete and I was playing baseball or I was on the basketball team, yeah, I'm short, but I was on the basketball team. I could shoot really well sometimes. But when my mind would go to, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to get this done, or I'm concerned or worried about it, I inevitably would screw up and fail. But the times when I was confident and was not thinking about the physical physical activity itself, like throwing a baseball or hitting the ball, and I was just more concentrating on the environment and what was going on around me and concentrating in a positive way, I had a lot better success. Is that part of the mindset that you help people get to, is to not be concerned or I'm not going to hit this curveball. There's no way I'm going to hit this I can't hit a curveball, so I'm never going to hit this thing. Or when you're playing golf, or when you're, because you mentioned that you went to an equestrian place and worked with that. Is the mindset a positive mindset? And does that make a difference? Does that make a huge difference? Or is it just I got lucky sometimes?
Well, with 50 years in the making, should there be a drum roll for me to answer this, or are you ready?
No, I've been waiting 50 years, so the sooner you answer it, the better off I am. No.
Okay. I think that it is 90% mental, and you have to come from a place of effective self-talk, not ineffective. I don't think it's positive or negative. But if you're telling yourself you're going to fail over and over, you probably are. I don't know if it works to say over and over and over, I'm not going to fail, and you're not, because you had to do the work and the preparation with it, right? If that makes sense. But you had to have done the work, and then you have to believe that you can do it. So that's effective self-talk, right? You've got a mantra or a power word that's keeping you focused or allowing you to go into what you sort of described. You were in the zone, right? All of those practices that you had gone to over and over and over, and your coach had said to make sure whatever, right? And you followed through and stayed in that zone. So that is where we all want to be. I think it is difficult to get there, and I think it's difficult to stay there for a long time because it's easy to go back to that doubt. We talk a lot about that with, fight or flight and rest and digest. We spend almost 80% of our lifetime in fight or flight, and we need to get to that rest and digest. And I believe in that rest and digest places where you were able to be in the zone. You were confident. Your body was able to do all the things that you had practiced over and over. But again, you probably had some pretty effective self-talk, or you just were in the zone where you could see the whole court, knew exactly where the ball was coming from or where to pass the ball. And
being in the zone. When I was playing football, that was a big deal. If you were in the zone, you could do things that you couldn't do if you were concerned or worried about certain things. And so being in the zone is a big deal. How do you stay in the zone? How do you get there? How do you stay there? That is, by the way, that is the $10 billion question. Because if everybody could get in the zone, because Brichelle was a figure skater, I mentioned before the show, and when she had the same deal. When she was in the zone, she did really well, and when she fell out of the zone, she fell on her keister. Is that correct, young lady?
Yeah, and really, it wasn't even just. It's not like when you get on the field or when you get on the ice or when you get on wherever you're going to perform whatever you're doing on the stage, but it's where you're at before that, right? My coach wouldn't let me watch other figure skaters, and I'd be in the same group as them. So I'm right by the ice. I can hear them, and I can hear the audience. I can hear the music. I know what's going on, but there's no visual sight. And that's what I really want to touch base with you, because what Kevin said has led me to that question when we come back. But how do you get people to, is it better depending on the person or overall to not be secluded from the other people, whether they're on your team or not, right? Because you see in a lot of sports, it's, oh, well, they're on the other team, or they're my component and I need to beat them. It's not necessarily a positive, but the times when I could hear the girls doing so good, that's when I actually performed better, because I wasn't nervous, and there was a zone that I was put in before I was placed on the ice. And then when I ended up dropping that coach and I was on my own and I was talking to all these girls and watching them perform and being involved with them more, it kind of just naturally came. And as Kevin said, it wasn't something I thought about. It kind of just happened that way. So I'd like your perspective on that when we come back. Is it better to engage and just be involved with everybody, no matter whether you're against each other or not in the game? Or is it better to kind of just stay in your own lane and see what happens then? So I'm curious.
So, Jacqueline, remember that, or Rochelle, remember what you just said, in case Jacqueline doesn't remember, because I have no idea what you just said. So, we'll be back in 1 minute and 10. So stay right where you are.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
The strength of staying kind from your friends at Positive Talk Radio. Kindness is not weakness. It takes real strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards anger, ego, and control. Being kind means choosing to act from your values, not your wounds. It means showing grace even when no one's watching. But kindness doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people take advantage of your time, your energy, or your peace. You can be kind and still say no. You have a soft heart with firm boundaries. The strongest people I know are the ones who choose compassion without losing themselves. They've been hurt. They've been tested. And still, they choose to love and lead and to lift others anyway. Kindness is not about pleasing everybody. It's about honoring who you are and how you treat others, even when it's hard. So stay kind, stay human, and stay strong. And always remember this: be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got.
And welcome back to Positive Talk Radio, everybody. It's myself and Kevin McDonald. Today we have Jacqueline with us. If you want to visit her website while we are doing the show with us, it's kellyperformancewellness.com. Really just talking about transforming your mind and body. So getting back to the question I had, depending on the sport that you're in or who you are as a human, is it better to interact with people around you? Or is it better to kind of maybe just stay in your own lane?
So lots smarter people than than myself have studied, and we call this the eyes off, or individual zones of optimal functioning. So when you're working with someone like myself, those are kind of the things that we're trying to figure out. What works for you might not be what works for Kevin. You might need to listen to heavy metal music really loud in your headphones, and Kevin may need to walk around and be more social and not be thinking about what's upcoming. Maybe I need to be sitting up against the wall with my headphones, working on my breathing techniques and meditation. So I don't think there is an answer that covers the group of the people listening, because we're all different when it comes to that. Yeah,
perfect.
I do have to ask you. You mentioned adolescence and stuff. There's a kind of a weird thing that goes on between fathers and sons sometimes, and that is, father did not do all that well in the athletic pursuits that he had when he was a kid. Now he has a kid, and the kid is doing extraordinarily well, and dad is trying to live his experiences through his son, because his son is a lot more talented than he was. First of all, I don't think that's appropriate, but how do you help the adolescent get through that when he's getting a lot of pressure from the father or the mother? They both do it, about being a better athlete, or you didn't do this right, or you didn't. How do you help them break through the noise that way?
Well, let me just say two things first. I may or may not have been a crazy parent with my kids, because I have some pretty high performing kids. So there is zero judgment when I cast this out there. In my job, that is the most difficult thing, is talking to the parents. Most of the time, the parents are so over the top, and they are causing more harm than they are doing good. So that's very difficult. And again, there is zero judgment there, because I may or may not have been that parent. But we have to have that conversation, because it is right there. It's their own life, and what is the goal of the child to begin with. And if we are going to be understanding humans and just good parents, hopefully we have to be able to ask the kids those questions. So that is usually what I do in my practice, is have the parent or parents and the child together so that we can have this conversation. As you can imagine, it doesn't always go great. If I'm still able to support the child after that, then we basically come up with coping skills for those types of interactions, because I would never suggest that the kids be disrespectful, but they also have to, we also have to be teaching them to set boundaries even at a pretty young age, and what it is that they're going to do or not do. But yeah, that's definitely the messiest thing I do.
And just as an aside, I just want to tell all the mothers out there, if your son is on the football team, and I know this from personal experience, if your son's on the football team and he's not getting the playing time that you, as his dear old mom, thinks he should be getting, please, please never call the coach.
Good advice, Ken. Good advice.
Well, and I know that from personal experience, because my son was brought up in front of 50 football players at the end of practice and said, "Sean, why did your mother call me yesterday?"
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that, Kevin, because there's so many things that parents do. I've noticed myself doing it as I'm helping out other teenagers. And that's why I love how you say that there's no judgment, because we have to learn from these things. You don't just know what's going on, but sometimes I've noticed how any influence, even aside from a parent, can be pushed so harshly that whether it's an adolescent or a full adult, they all of a sudden maybe kind of just like lose the passion that they once had before, because it just brings so many things on. Do you see that happen a lot too?
Yeah, we forget that it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Even really good professional athletes, they go, well, first of all, this is a game. Mm-hmm. Nobody's life depends on it. It's a game. And so if you can relax and enjoy the game at all levels, but there's so much pressure. So especially on an adolescent kid, that there's pressure to win. There's pressure from his teammates, pressure from the coach. And then if you throw mom and dad into it, and then when you play well, dad's real happy, and when you don't play well, dad's real sad, and the kids pick up on that, don't they?
No, yeah, for sure. I try to teach my athletes to not ignore the pressure, but we communicate about the pressure, and then I ask them to raise the level and have them raise the expectation of themselves, right? Can they raise the expectation by getting to bed earlier, eating healthier, putting more time into practice, working on if we've been talking about boundaries or their mental health or homework or whatever it is, but to raise the expectation of themselves. We can just every day just be so much more, we can be so much more grateful. We can be such better communicators. We can be better spouses or partners or friends. And so let's raise the expectation. And as you're concentrating on raising the expectation of yourself, I think it lessens the pressure, because that's not what you're focused on.
That's true. Have you ever worked with an adolescent that maybe taught you a lesson that stuck with you up until now?
Oh my gosh.
Let's out the coach right here.
What is he? Yes.
Yes, I just have learned so much from all of my clients. I just am so grateful and thankful. But when you ask me that question, I'm thinking of one particular one, and I'm just going to say his name because he needs to be outed because he's amazing. His name is Trevor, and he reminded me every time he came to the gym to smile, to take myself less serious, to have fun, to be okay with having vulnerable conversations. I think he taught me that it was okay to cry. God, I'm going to cry now. cry in public, right? To be vulnerable. And he was probably teaching me this at, 11, 12, and 13. So incredible
That's
human.
powerful. Yeah.
Speaking of incredible humans, I think you is one, T.
Well,
I'd agree.
thank you very much.
Takes one to
Because I
know
can-
one.
Exactly, because I can see it in your eyes and your smile that you deeply care for these kids and these people that you work with, and not for your own aggrandizement, but for them to become what they really wish to become. Because there's nothing like when you achieve your goals, like when Rochelle came in first place. Which she did more than once. I've seen some of the trophies that she doesn't talk about much,
Nice.
but she did really, really well sometimes. And when you help somebody get there, what's the feeling like for you?
Oh, you're just talking, and it is like a fullness in your heart that I think I felt when I delivered my babies, and then don't feel until I really help somebody and see. And I love to see somebody be able to squat more weight or deadlift more weight or bench press more weight. But it's when I have a college athlete right now, when she calls and says that, she handled a really difficult situation with grace and dignity, and she's feeling really proud of herself. It's just, it's, there's no words, just so grateful and thankful for those good feelings and wanting everybody to feel it.
So do you work with also people who, like if somebody's listening and they're just at home and they're like, I'm not an athlete, but I want to be in touch with this. I want to feel these things. And I want to work with someone like Jacqueline. Do you work with those kind of people, first of all? Just like everyday
Yes.
people?
Yes,
Do
I
you
think.
see the same result in them with their life when it's like,
Mm.
Jacqueline, like things in my life are just getting better and I don't know why?
Yes, for sure. I think that is what led me mostly to filming my virtual program, Unfragile. I spoke to Kevin about it just a little bit, but unfragile maybe is just this word, right? But I want it to be a movement, right? Like that you're 3 and your parents are talking to you about being unfragile, and then you're in school and your teacher is talking to you about it, and you're at the library and you're on a sporting team and they're talking to you about what it means to be unfragile, that you can cry, you can be sad, but what are the skills that it takes to make your life better, or to raise those expectations and be so proud or fulfilled, satisfied. The program is strong body, strong mind, and strong purpose. And if you've ever felt a little lost in your life before, having that purpose, and what if we were teaching that? What if I would have done a better job of teaching that to my kids before they got to college? Would they have done a better job of not wavering and not knowing what they wanted to do? Or if it was just a way that you and I talk to one another, right? That I already assume that you're unfragile, and it becomes a strength between us in our relationship, maybe even if it's just in passing. So I work with people virtually, over the phone. You can purchase the program and go through the Unfragile program, and then you can talk with me on the phone. Kevin knows that I don't like to sit down, so you just tell me where you are and let me come to you. So I can stand up.
Jacqueline, I have
love
to ask you this because I don't quite get it, and maybe you can help me understand this. But there are some people that just have this innate desire and ability to never quit. If we could teach that to everybody, I'll give you an example. There was a guy on my football team. He was the same age as me, same grade. His name was Mark. He wasn't very good, but he showed up every day. every day he got the poo kicked out of him by everybody because he wasn't fast enough, he wasn't tall enough, he wasn't big enough, but he showed up every day for 4 years. He never played in a varsity game at all until the last game of the last season. He got in the fourth quarter because the coach knew this as well and was rewarding him from being there. And he made a couple of really good plays. And that was something that he took with him for the rest of his life. He's passed now, but he took it for the rest of his life. But what is it that allows some people to do that and to have this never quit in them? Because that carried through in everything he did in his life until his life was over. Why do some people have that and others don't? Because most of the people would have quit when he was a freshman and he was getting the poo kicked out of him and stuff on the football field. What is it? Is it innate? Is it taught? How does it work?
That's probably maybe a better question for a neuroscientist, but my understanding is that you believe in yourself. And is that innate? Were you born and all of a sudden you believed in yourself, or was that something that you were taught early on, either from someone that you trusted? But it is definitely, you can see the difference for sure in people who are lacking confidence in themselves. And he sounds like a pretty confident young man that believed in himself and believed in what he was trying to do. So perseverance. But yeah, I don't think we can drum roll that one, because I do think that's probably a better question for a neuroscientist.
Well, and his parents, I don't know that if they came to the games or not, as he was on the sidelines and never got into the game and stuff. But there are, and that's how some people are in life too. Maybe it's a neuroscience question, but some people have a never quit in them, and other people, but I think it's a mental attitude of if you're not going to quit, you're going to keep going no matter what. Because eventually, the people who do that, they end up succeeding in life because they don't quit and they stay with it until they are success, and then they become an overnight success that took 10 years.
Yes.
Well,
yeah. No
Kevin,
such thing as
that's
an
a good
overnight.
point, because it's not just for them; it's for everyone around them. You noticed him. He affected you just by being who he was. I skated with someone who's the same way. She's way older than all of us. Her name was Abby, and her grandma would come with her every single day almost to the ice rink, and she never got any better. Never. Like in 4.5 years, she was at the same level. But having her there and me growing, she was proud of me. And that went a really long way. How you are as a person, no matter whether you're good at it or not, but where your purpose stands and where you feel you matter the most, when you stand in that energy, you affect everyone around you. So I'll let us take this break. And Jacqueline, I'm so sad that we're running out of time, but I'd love for you to give us a few more pinpoints on, how to help somebody whose mind is like, hey, this is something maybe I think I want to do, and how you'd help them.
And just so you know, Rochelle, she's writing a book, and
Yes.
I have commanded on high that she come back to the show when the book is done before it's released, because I really want to promote that, because it can be so helpful. And by the way, Jacqueline, I've done something that they're called Points to Ponder, and we have a dozen of them now, and they're just really, I would love for you to look at this, and I'd love your opinion on the other side. Here's another point to ponder by Positive Talk Radio. A tiny seed was buried in the dirt, covered in darkness, forgotten by the world. But within that darkness, it grew roots, then sprouted into something beautiful. The seasons of struggle you face are not endings. They're beginnings. Trust that growth is happening, even when you cannot see it. You're listening to Positive Talk Radio, where stories of hope live. Here's another point to ponder by Positive Talk Radio. In a dark room, a single candle was lit. That tiny flame chased away the shadows, filling the space with hope. Your courage, your kindness, and your light may seem small at times, but it can change someone's entire world. Never underestimate the power you already carry inside. Even the smallest flame can ignite a fire that transforms lives. You are listening to Positive Talk Radio, where stories of hope come alive. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Rochelle dancing over there, and my name is Kevin McDonald, and Jacqueline Kelly is with us. And by the way, you are the candle that I talk about there, because one little light can chase away the darkness, and you can help somebody change, and you can change their entire life. That's got to be exciting for you.
Mm-hmm. It's very exciting. I loved those points to ponder. They're so true. And, just a smile, sometimes a kind gesture shows your courage, that sometimes allows other people to have courage to either speak up or get the help that they need.
Yeah.
It is so true. Rochelle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when somebody finally speaks up and they say, hey, Jacqueline, I know that this is probably something I need in my life and could really, really help me in different angles. What are some of the first ways you just kind of help them, besides realizing, you need to make a goal and you need to do this and you need to do that? Do you kind of just talk with them and figure out who they are, and that's how you figure out what works best for them, is to just be a friend?
Yeah, create a connection.
Yeah.
There's definitely other ways to do it, right? We can send different questionnaires to ask them different questions. The sooner that I can get to know somebody, possibly the better I can help them. Get to know what their self-talk is like, if they have some, cognitive distortions, different things like that. But at the beginning is, can we create a connection? And, how quickly can I get you to buy what I'm selling, that I really do care, I really do want to help. And if for some reason I'm not the one to help you, I will help you find somebody else that can, a referral or whatever. I'm not going to leave you out there.
Well, and I just want to share this with everybody, because you've been doing this for a while now, and I'm willing to bet that you have people that have worked with you and they see you again, and they'll come up to you and say, Jacqueline or Miss Kelly, or however they address you, thank you. You added a great big difference in my life. I had coaches. My dad was an executive for Nordstrom. He worked 6 days a week, fabulous provider. He was who he was. But as far as being a cheerleader and somebody that got down on my level when I was 11 years old, he wasn't that guy. But I had a coach who was that guy. And he gave me the confidence and the ability like you do. And if he were still alive today, I would love to shout out to him. His name was Scotty Reed. He was a tremendous man. And I'm willing to bet that you get the same response from people who have worked with you in the past, who did not maybe have the great people at home to be cheerleaders, but you were that person. That's happened to you, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. I'm fortunate that it has.
I don't know that fortune has anything to do with it, dear.
Well, it reminds me, even Kevin, you mentioned slightly that even when they don't have, the mentor that's supposed to be there for the team is not the person that lifts them up, or it's not the coach, it's somebody else, and being able to work past that and help the rest of the team. Have you ever had somebody come to you and say, I'm so thankful for you because I was able to recognize that I loved what I was doing, but I wasn't in the right atmosphere with the right team. And they were able to move that and find something that fit them, and they were able to actually perform better.
Yeah, I've had that experience with teams and business leaders. Yeah.
And by the way, Samuel has a question. Did you train mental health awareness? I'm sure in your master's degree and what you did and in psychology and stuff, you did, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So she did, Samuel, wherever you are and over there in Kenya.
Wherever that is. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Great question.
And so because mental health and proper mental health and good mental health is really paramount to if you're going to achieve what you really want to in life. And which brings up an interesting question. Have you worked with people that as you get to know them and work with them, that you find out that they have PTSD or they have other things that are holding them back from where they would like to be because of what had happened to them prior in their life?
Yes. PTSD, suicide ideation, eating disorders. Those are not my expertise. I am a mental performance coach. I'm not a counselor. So those take referrals to people that are, taught in that field a little bit better, but we still collaborate and do things together. But huge in the awareness piece, right? And being able to get those people the help that they need.
Yeah. In the sense of awareness, have you ever had somebody recommended to you and they were like, I didn't realize how much moving my body was important for my mind?
Oh, yeah, for sure. More than half of the time. Yeah.
Very good.
You mean moving your body is helpful for your mind?
Yes. It's so good, Kevin. You and I can talk later.
Yeah, you get him.
Oh, it looks like I'm going to have a counseling session is what that looks like. Well, yeah, but I was an athlete when I was younger and all that kind of good stuff. So not that does me any good now.
Maybe.
Well, Michelle's seen me in person and she knows I'm older and I'm a bit broken, aren't I?
No. Kevin can do all the things. He just doesn't know it. He's like I used to be able to raise my arm way up here, but now I can only do it to here. And he's got it inside of him, and he still does so many things. You have to give yourself credit, Kevin, because you got your little sauna and those things that help you in your house too. But I'm so sad, Jacqueline. We're running out of time. I want to be able to have time to counsel a little bit of Kevin and get him out in the nature. But before we leave, is there anything that you'd like to share with our audience of ways that they can either interact with you or just something that you've learned that is very beneficial that stuck with you through this?
Well, I think just going to my website is all the information, so they can email me. My phone number is there, so
Very
that's how they can talk. And then I think in my parting wisdom, I do know that on this time that we have here, we do suffer, but I don't think we're put here to suffer. So if you are suffering in some way, shape, or form, then talk to somebody about it or seek the help that you need. And whether that's me or someone else, it's supposed to be fun and you're supposed to be happy and we're supposed to be laughing. So don't forget that. Stop watching all those videos and remember that we're supposed to be having fun.
And just as an aside, if you are having a difficult moment in time and you need somebody to talk to, but there is nobody to talk to that you know of, 988 is a national hotline. You can go there and get some help. They can refer you to people. And if you're in the military service, 988 and hit the number 1 when it comes on, and that will take you to somebody that can help you if you're having troubles coming back from military service, which is an epidemic in this country. But in any event, Jacqueline Kelly, it's been our pleasure having you here. And her website again, Brashelle, is?
Yes, visit her website, kellyperformancewellness.com. As she said, any ways to get in touch with her there, and so many other options if you're just curious. So take a look. It's so worth it.
And Jacqueline, thank you so much for being here. You're going to have to come back because we're not done with you yet.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you two both so much. This is really fun.
Glad you had a good time, and we did too, and it was very informative. And Samuel, take the 350 kids and start doing laps. Around the village, my friend. Laps around the village. So thank you, everybody. And Brashelle, you were beautiful today. And Jacqueline, as always, and thank you so much. It's been great fun. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.